On a radar screen above the Gulf, two prices are racing toward each other. One belongs to a Shahed-style one-way attack drone, slow, loud, and estimated to cost as little as $20,000. The other belongs to a Patriot interceptor, around $4 million. If the missile hits, the drone is destroyed. The defender wins the shot. But here is the uncomfortable question. Did the attacker win the exchange? Because one side can buy roughly 200 cheap drones for the estimated price of a single high-end interceptor. And in modern war, the weapon that survives is not always the weapon that wins. Sometimes the winner is the side that can keep launching after the other side runs out. This does not mean a cheap drone is more powerful than a Patriot missile. It is not. Patriot was built to defend high-value targets against far more demanding threats, including ballistic and cruise missiles. The comparison reveals something different. Air defense has become an economics problem, a magazine problem, and finally a time problem. As of July 28, 2026, United States Central Command says that a combined American and partner air defense network intercepted more than 6,000 one-way attack drones and more than 1,500 ballistic missiles during 38 days of major combat in Operation Epic Fury. Those are official United States military figures, and public sources cannot independently verify every engagement. But the scale is the point. Reuters reported that Iran launched more than 1,000 drones in the first week of the conflict alone. This is no longer a story about one drone slipping through a radar gap. It is a story about what happens when relatively cheap aircraft keep arriving in waves night after night. The Shahed 136 is not a miniature stealth bomber. Open-source estimates describe a delta-wing aircraft about 3.5 meters long, weighing roughly 200 kilograms, and moving near 180 kilometers per hour. Estimates of its range vary widely from about 1,000 to 2,500 kilometers. Its payload is commonly estimated between 20 and 50 kilograms. Those figures also change as Iran and other producers modify the design. That uncertainty matters. There is no public price tag attached to every airframe, and the often repeated $20,000 figure is a low-end estimate. A current assessment from the Center for Strategic and International Studies places Shahed-type costs roughly between $20,000 and $50,000. The basic design is inexpensive because it does not need the performance of a fighter aircraft or a cruise missile. It can use a relatively simple airframe, a small piston engine, commercial-grade components, satellite navigation, and a pre-programmed route. It does not need a pilot, an ejection seat, a life support system, or a runway. Most important, it does not need every drone to reach its target. A failed drone can still force radar operators to track it. A decoy can still reveal where a defender is looking. A wave can still make a base pause operations, send crews into shelters, or persuade a commander to spend an interceptor. The attacker is buying effects, not just explosions. That is the first trap in the cost exchange. The cheap weapon does not have to outperform the expensive weapon. It only has to create a problem that the defender cannot safely ignore. Now look at the other side of the radar screen. A Patriot interceptor is not simply a rocket with a larger price tag. The system is designed to detect, track, discriminate, and destroy fast, difficult targets under extreme time pressure. The interceptor needs a powerful motor, precision guidance, a sophisticated seeker, secure electronics, and the ability to survive violent acceleration while making constant corrections. The exact price depends on the interceptor model, contract year, production quantity, support package, and what the accounting includes. Reuters described ground-launched Patriot interceptors as costing around $4 million each. That is an approximate comparison, not a universal price for every shot and not proof that every Shahed is engaged by Patriot. In real combat, commanders use the weapon that is available, positioned correctly, cleared to fire, and capable of protecting the threatened asset. When an incoming track may be heading toward an airbase, fuel farm, radar, command center, or a formation of service members waiting for a cheaper option can be far more expensive than firing the missile. This is where the simple internet calculation breaks. If a $4 million interceptor prevents a drone from destroying a $100 million radar or killing people, the shot may be an excellent trade. The correct question is not, how much did the target cost? The correct question is, what did the interception protect? But the price comparison cannot be dismissed either. An attacker chooses when to launch, how many tracks to create, which routes to use, and whether to mix real weapons with decoys. The defender must be ready across many locations for many hours, with enough sensors, crews, launchers, and ammunition to survive the next raid, as well as the current one. $220,000 drones have the same rough purchase value as one $4 million interceptor. That does not mean 200 drones can be exchanged for one missile in practice. It means the attacker may be able to create far more targets than the defender has high-end shots. The real currency is magazine depth. Every launcher has a limited number of ready rounds. Reload vehicles must move ammunition into position. Crews must work while the threat may still be overhead. A 2026 Army analysis notes that air defense systems carry a basic load and a limited number of reloads, and that many missile-based systems cannot fight and reload at the same time. Factories are another magazine. An interceptor may take months to build, test, and deliver. A simple drone can be assembled from a broader supply chain and produced in much larger numbers. Reuters cited an estimate that Iran had the capacity to produce around 10,000 drones per month during the conflict. That figure is an estimate, not a verified production ledger. Even a fraction of it would create a serious endurance problem, so a defense can win every visible engagement and still become weaker. The first raid consumes missiles. The second raid forces harder choices. The third raid arrives when launchers are reloading, crews are tired, or commanders are protecting only the most important assets. The campaign is designed to turn tactical success into strategic exhaustion. Imagine a single drone approaching from the coast. A modern radar can detect it, classify it, and cue a weapon. Now imagine dozens arriving from different directions and altitudes. Some carry warheads, some may be decoys, some may be programmed to circle, change timing, or follow terrain. Behind them may be faster crews or ballistic missiles that deserve the most capable interceptors. The defense is no longer solving one target, it is solving raid geometry. Sensors can track many objects, but operators, engagement channels, launcher positions, and ready rounds are finite. The attacker is trying to compress decision time until the defender either fires an expensive weapon at a low-value track or waits too long against a dangerous one. Cheap does not mean unstoppable. Shade-type drones are relatively slow, noisy, and vulnerable to aircraft, guns, electronic warfare, and short-range defenses. Launch sites, storage areas, communications, and factories can be attacked. Components can be sanctioned or intercepted. Navigation can be disrupted. Mechanical failures remove some drones before the defender does. CENTCOM says Operation Epic Fury severely damaged Iran's drone launching units, storage sites, and industrial base. That is an official military assessment, and Iran's actual remaining inventory is not fully visible in public reporting. The larger lesson survives either way. Mass creates leverage, but mass also depends on a production and launch network that can be targeted. The answer is not to stop using Patriot. The answer is to stop asking one expensive layer to solve every problem. A sustainable defense works like a ladder. The cheapest reliable option should engage first, while the most capable missiles are reserved for the threats that truly require them. The first layer is information. Radar, infrared sensors, acoustic detection, intelligence, and partner networks have to build one shared track picture. Early warning creates time, and time creates cheaper choices. A drone found at long range can be routed toward aircraft or mobile teams. A drone discovered over the runway may leave only seconds for a missile shot. The second layer is soft kill. Electronic warfare can jam or deceive radio links and satellite navigation. But not every drone depends on a live control signal. Pre-programmed navigation, inertial guidance, anti-jam modifications, and autonomous behavior can reduce the effect. Jamming is powerful, not magical. The third layer is guns and short-range systems. Machine guns, 30mm cannons, proximity-fused ammunition, and mobile fire teams can defeat slow drones without spending a strategic interceptor. They also have limits: range, line of sight, weather, debris, and the danger of firing near populated areas. The fourth layer is a cheaper interceptor. The Army's Coyote is designed for counter-drone missions. Army University Press cited a contract unit price near $125,000, still more than many small drones but far below a multi-million-dollar missile. Reuters also reported interest in a roughly $2,500 interceptor drone called Terra A1. At the time of that report, it had not been battle-tested, so its price is real marketing data, but its combat effectiveness remains unproven. The fifth layer is directed energy. The Government Accountability Office says United States laser prototypes have successfully shot down drones in demonstrations, while higher power lasers and microwave systems are being developed for larger threats and swarms. Their attraction is obvious. Once the system is installed and powered, the cost of another shot can be dramatically lower than a missile. Their limitations are equally real: weather, dust, range, line of sight, cooling, power generation, and the difficulty of moving prototypes into reliable fielded programs. The final layer remains the high-end interceptor. Patriot AIM-9X and other missiles are not failures because they are expensive. They are insurance for the track that is too fast, too dangerous, too close, or too uncertain to risk. The goal is not the cheapest shot. It is the cheapest shot that gives the required probability of saving the defended asset. Now apply that logic to an American airbase facing a large drone raid. Public information is not enough to predict a precise kill count, so any exact simulation would be false confidence. But the decision tree is clear. The network detects the raid as early as possible. Intelligence identifies likely launch routes. Electronic warfare attempts to disrupt the tracks that can be disrupted. Guns and counter-drone interceptors take the slower, cleaner shots. Aircraft engage where distance and airspace allow. High-end missiles protect the most dangerous approach and remain available in case a ballistic or cruise missile appears behind the drones. At the same time, the base reduces what a successful drone can accomplish. Aircraft disperse. Fuel and ammunition are separated. Critical systems receive overhead cover. Decoys pull weapons away from real assets. Runway repair teams stand ready. Operations move to backup locations. In that moment, concrete camouflage, redundancy, and training become part of air defense. This is the detail the price comparison often misses. The best way to beat a $20,000 drone may not be a cheaper missile. It may be making the target so hard to find, reach, and permanently disable that the attacker receives almost no return at all. So who wins? Iran's $20,000 drone or America's $4 million missile? In a single clean interception, the missile wins. The drone is gone and the protected asset survives. Across a long campaign, the drone can still create a strategic advantage if it forces the wrong interceptor to fire, drains ready magazines, exposes radar positions, delays operations, or opens a path for a more dangerous weapon. That is how a cheap aircraft can lose the battle in the sky and still influence the war on the ground. America wins the larger contest when it turns air defense from one expensive shield into a layered system. Shared sensors, electronic warfare, guns, interceptor drones, hardened bases, partner networks, and high-end missiles reserved for high-end danger. CENTCOM's own 2026 posture statement describes cost-effective unmanned systems and rapid counter-drone innovation as central priorities. The lesson has been learned. The race is now to field it at scale. The $4 million missile is not proof that America is losing. It is a warning that no military, however advanced, can afford to use its most expensive answer for every cheap question. The future of air defense will not be decided by the fastest missile alone. It will be decided by the side that spends the right dollar on the right target and can do it again tomorrow night. Next on Honor Tales, could Iran actually sink a United States aircraft carrier?